In this video, I'll be creating a starting 11 of players who I think were wasted talents in the Premier League. Some of these players were good players and had decent careers, but never reached the levels I think they could have reached. In goal, I've picked David De Gea. It was very difficult picking a goalkeeper because goalkeepers aren't really the players targeted by the idea of having huge potential, mainly because goalkeepers generally peak much later in their careers. I picked David De Gea because I think he could have been an all-time great. His shot-stopping ability is one of the best I've ever seen in my life, and at times he looked unbeatable. But his lack of consistency and his inability to adapt to the modern game has halted his progress as a goalkeeper and damaged his legacy. He is looked at as a meme, especially in recent years, but he could have been looked at as one of the best shot stoppers of all time. The first defender in this team is Hector Bellerin. Bellerin was genuinely a very exciting fullback when he started getting consistent game time at Arsenal back in the 2014-15 season. It looked like he was going to develop into a top right back. He played over 30 Premier League games for Arsenal for 3 seasons in a row, and then injuries basically ruined his career. He never got back to the player he once was, and he was never able to fulfill his potential. He is still only 28 years old and playing for Real Betis in La Liga. My next defender is Çağlar Söyüncü. This might seem like an odd pick to some, but Söyüncü was one of the most talked about defenders in the Premier League for a couple of seasons. A big reason why Leicester City were so successful in the 2019-20 season and the 2020-2021 season was because of him. He was putting in fantastic performances consistently and was considered one of the best defenders in the league. However, after that, he sort of just vanished. Last season, he only ended up playing 7 league games for Leicester City because of some injury issues. He then moved to Atletico Madrid this season as a free agent, but is currently out on loan at Fenerbahce after only playing 6 La Liga matches with Atletico. He is still only 27 years old. My next defender is Phil Jones. Phil Jones was once considered a generational talent. In 2011, he signed for Man United as a teenager after having a fantastic season for Blackburn Rovers. Signing for Man United as a teenager during the era of United's dominance was a sign that this player could be very special. Sir Alex Ferguson even believed that he could have been an all-time Manchester United great. However, injury issues ultimately killed his career. He never really developed into a top player, and he had issues with mental health because of the abuse he would constantly receive. Most people don't really know that Phil Jones was a player with huge potential. He is only known for being a bad player and making funny faces. My final defender is Ricardo Pereira. Similar to Söyüncü, for 2 seasons, Pereira was incredible for Leicester. He was arguably the best right back in the league. Then, he just couldn't stay fit. He struggled with injuries for many seasons and he couldn't regain any consistency. Now at 30 years old, he is still playing with Leicester in the Championship and has played in 26 league games. Leicester City will likely be promoted back to the Premier League next season, so maybe Pereira will be able to show the Premier League how good he used to be. My first of 4 midfielders is Hatem Ben Arfa. Ben Arfa was one of my favorite footballers growing up. His time at Newcastle was just incredible to watch. He played like such a pure footballer and the things he could do on the ball were unbelievable. As a youngster, he was very highly rated in France and he was supposed to be the next big French talent, but it never seemed to fully click for him. It was shocking to me that a player of that quality never reached the top. After Newcastle, he jumped from club to club, never finding much consistency, and then ended up retiring back in 2022. Now he is just known as a streets won't forget footballer when he easily could have been much more. My next midfielder is Paul Pogba. He has probably had the best career out of any player in this team. Pogba came to Man United while being viewed as one of the best players in the world. His profile as a midfielder was rare, and he was a very unique player, one that was supposed to stay at the top for a very long time. No one can deny the talent that he had, but he was never consistently good for Man United. There has been a lot of Pogba revisionism in recent years, but no one will ever convince me that he was good for United. Paul, on his day, Pogba could have been an all-time great. My next midfielder is Dele Alli. Dele Alli has to be one of the best youngsters of all time. He tore up the Premier League as a 19-year-old in his debut season for Tottenham and won the PFA Young Player of the Year award. And he followed that by having an even better second season and winning the PFA Young Player award for the second time in a row. These are signs of a special player. However, a few seasons later, his development was slowing down. He wasn't performing well, and there were questions about his mentality and work ethic. He was eventually sold to Everton, where he struggled, and was sent on loan to Besiktas, where he also struggled. He is still at Everton now and has been injured all season. He is still only 27 years old, but will probably never get his career back on track. My final midfielder is Ross Barkley. Barkley was a player I loved watching when he was at Everton. He looked like a very technical attacking midfielder who could be a fantastic creator for most teams in the Premier League. I always thought that he would become a top player. However, he moved to Chelsea in 2017 and was never favored in the midfield positions. He spent a lot of time on the bench and became a bit of a forgotten player. He had so much ability, but it all ended up going to waste the second that he left Everton. He is currently playing in the Premier League for Luton Town, and he is playing pretty well. He is showing glimpses of the player I thought he would become one day. I'm very happy to see him playing well, and hopefully that continues. My first forward in this team is Daniel Sturridge. Sturridge in his first 2 seasons at Liverpool was fantastic. In the 2013-14 season, he scored 21 goals and formed an unbelievable partnership with Luis Suarez. They scored 52 goals as a duo that season and almost led Liverpool to their first Premier League title with a somewhat mediocre side. Sturridge looked like a top striker, but it just never continued. He struggled with injuries throughout his entire Liverpool career and never reached close to the level he once was at. The final player in this team is Mario Balotelli. Balotelli was a player who I always looked at as the next Ibra. He had so much talent and was a very well-rounded striker. At Inter Milan, he announced himself to the world and even won the Golden Boy Award and the Champions League. He then moved to Man City, which was ultimately the decision that I think hurt his career the most. He joined Man City in 2010 and lasted 3 seasons at the club. I think him joining City was a bad decision because he was never going to be the first choice striker. Carlos Tevez, Edin Dzeko, and Sergio Aguero were all at the club during that same time period, and they were all better strikers than Balotelli. He was still a young player, and in those years, he never really got to develop properly. He also had massive attitude and behavioral issues that also played a part in his downfall. So that is my team of wasted talents. Please let me know if I forgot anyone in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you all for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers. It means a lot. Thank you for all the support, and thanks for watching. No way, we hit it. Let's go. 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers. We did it. It took a while. Kinda, I guess. Like from the minute I made my first football video, I was at like 40 subscribers or something. And now, how many months is that? So, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is amazing. Unreal.